We're going to continue on from last week and just make a quick review. And I heard that, Matzah Shabbos, we heard that Wednesday we came out with a different psak. And I want to make clarity in that psak because we have to come out to Lamais and not just to always be mesupik about all the brachas. So I just want to be clear for us here in America. He might say something different tomorrow, but
down here in America, we got very disrupted.
Right. So we just to that nakuda 1 second.
Brachas right on the top, second shelf is a brachas gemara should be.
Sorry.
Would you like a book? You have a book.
I don't have a book, but it's okay. So just to get back into Taisus for a minute and see the chilik in Taisus, when Taisus is mechalik between when do I make a mezainis, when do I say the halacha of kol sheyesh, but we know the Gemara says a klal, and that's what we pass in the kol sheyesh by. You make a mezainis, even though it's not the ikka. So we clad, again, I don't want to be marich on this, but we clad if that's considered that that's the ikka, or even if it's not the ikka, you're still going to make a mezainis. And that class is going to make many enough communities. But Akaponim, Taisus Lashon was that the only time you're making a bar mezainis is she yisad alei, but v'imle davik ba'alma tzarich avach bar mezainis. And therefore, we came out very clear that on gefilte fish, as much flour as it has, you're still not going to go ahead and make a mezainis, even though it's called sheyesh bar, and you would say that it is a filling somewhat. And we explained from the Chazanish, that's how he worded it. Chaim Kanievsky said the Chazanish didn't say that, but forget what the Chazanish said or not. But when something's called fish, that is the tachlis of it. You can't tell me that I'm trying to eat the fish because I want a mezainis part. If that's what it's called, that's definitely, it's halacha, and that's the bracha you're going to make. Now, that's for gefilte fish. But when it comes to schnitzel, that gets a little bit more complicated because schnitzel, it's not in the fish. It's not in the chicken. It's above the chicken. So over there is where it gets a little bit more, where you can start arguing that maybe this is something separate, and therefore you'll say kol sheyesh bar, and you should make a mezainis. That's what the noise was. We spoke about it pretty much in length. I just want to make somewhat of a sikkum. We said b'shem Rav Moshe, and we said it's not clear because you can't be medayik in this Rav Moshe because it's coming from Chaves L'Tayev Ayra, and Rabbi Bluth wrote it, and I spoke to Rabbi Bluth about this, and he said, don't be medayik in my words. I was just quoting Ba'arach what I thought Rabbi Moshe said. And not only that, you have this in many tshuvas in Igis Moshe, in the later volumes, when it doesn't say a name, when it doesn't say HaRav Agayin, then you know that, I can't say any times, but many times, I spoke to Rabbi Bluth about this also, it was Rabbi Bluth that wrote it, and even though it's in the Igis Moshe, but this is not the first 5 halakim, it's probably from the 6th and on, that sometimes you have hard tshuvas to read, and you'll realize that, and you'll look in the Torah Laira, and that's where it's coming from. They just put it in from there. It's Akaponim, but it's still Rav Moshe talking. And the Moshe over there said a svara, why to make a shahakel on schnitzel. And he said 2 svaras. He said one is, it's dir lahatem achilasan u lahakel achanasan, which means, lahakel achanasan we understood very well, is there that it shouldn't get burnt, because if you're going to put the schnitzel, frying schnitzel, and you're going to put it into you're going to put the chicken into the fry, it's going to get very dry. So I put the surrounding around it, I put the mezainis around it, the bread comes, that it should stay fresh, has a wetness to it. That's the metzias. So Moshe says that's enough of a svara to say that you don't say kol sheyesh bar, because that the kol sheyesh bar is not giving it a cheshivas to it. That was one svara. And then he said another svara, that it's ein lahatem achilasan, which we had a hard time, unless we tried to explain it a little bit, what that means, lahatem achilasan, and why that's considered that keeps it a shahaka. But at the end of the day is Rav Moshe held shahaka, and Bianca Kamenetsky held shahaka. So Mizramin said very clear also that it's brought down in Bichas Hananin, Sefer Bichas Hananin, since it's just made l'davek, that it should be good l'tugin, l'yuksha abasa, you make a shahaka. The Shevet HaRav says, "L'di pashat l'yivarach bayim min mezainis u'bechasa yak shehakol," and he explains like this. He says a new svar. He says, as much as you are telling me a din of kol sheyesh bar, over here it's just a cover. Kol sheyesh boi is when it's in the thing itself, when it's mixed in the ingredients. But when it's just a cover, so what's knocking out the chicken? It's still chicken. There's chicken with a cover on top of it. That doesn't have a din of kol sheyesh boi. The Shevet HaLevi tells us in Ayis that when something is just a cover, that doesn't get the din of kol sheyesh boi. Now, that it's a chiddush, but this is what the Shevet HaLevi is for. Reb Chaim Pinchas Scheinberg brought down a Chiddushei Basa. Chiddushei Basa was Reb Chaim Pinchas Scheinberg's Aiden. Wrote a sefer called Chiddushei Basa. You know who Chiddushei Basa was? Rabbi Tuski, Rabbi Chalapnish. So he wrote many svarim, and over there he writes Haggah. That's always, he doesn't write his name. That's always, most of the time, that's the Shver of Chaim Pinchas Scheinberg. Reb Chaim Pinchas Scheinberg says that schnitzel you make a shahakal. So I just mentioned you enough Gedolei HaPoskim that say you make a shahakal. Now, I'll tell you another reason to be mitzav to make a shahakal. There's a very interesting Osameach in Meir Simcha that says that the din that chameshes minei dagon you make a mezainis kol sheyesh bo is only if I would want more dagon, I would be happy with it. Which means the fact that kol sheyesh bo says that even though there's a little bit, if I would take more, I would be happier. So man, I give this miyat chashivas. Masha'en came. If I wouldn't want more, then kol sheyesh bo doesn't have chashivas, and therefore you won't make a mezainis. Here's Svar Meir Simcha. This is Meir Simcha, right? Now, Meir Simcha, I'm not saying it's Allah or not. He's saying it's the Rambam. But upon him, by the schnitzel, or by the gefilte fish, or by anything like that, the more flour you're going to put in, you're going to mess it up.
Here on the Rambam, here on
Where's the Meir Simcha?
on the Rambam.
Yeah, on the Rambam here.
In Gimel Chet.
1 second, let me tell you where it is exactly.
We missed it.
You didn't see this in Meir Simcha. Well, it's on the sugya. I have it. Okay, I don't have it in front of me now, but this is probably.
I have it. I mean, is it on Gimel Vav? It's called Davar Shemarim by
Could be it's on Gimel Hey Dalet Hey Vav, something over there. Probably in that. Yeah, that's what I would say. But to be exact,
yeah, here it is. It's on page. Can I put it up? 153. Yeah. It's on page 153.
Oh, you have it in the booklets?
Yes.
Hey. Oh, wow. Hey, Gimel Allah Chavav. That's it.
153. It's right there in the middle. The nearly kach.
I don't have anything. I don't see anything. Okay, yeah, that's it. Now, thank you. I got it. Oh, he says, and Meir Simcha says like this: the nearly kach. The chol echadim having ma'ber bekimcha having Michael su chashiv hamiut hamu'urav u'kemay chavetz gdei v'dais devim mamshebo kimcha yimaduv shegam ken chazil achila. If I would be ma'ber in it, it would be more ready for me for achila, so that makes it better. So that would make it a mezainis. But if I would be ma'ber in this ingredient or destroy it, then you do not make a mezainis. If this Meir Simcha is true, most of the things will not make a mezainis. It means all our questions, the licorice or anything like that, the more if you're gonna put in too much flour, kids aren't gonna eat it. It's gonna be a cookie instead of a nash. So therefore, you won't have any such svara if this Meir Simcha is not halacha. Now it's hard to say Meir Simcha Rambam to say it's not halacha, but it's not just the soy. He's saying nearly kach. He's telling you that that's really what should be. That's Torah, exactly. And we know das Torah is greater than the das of then when he brings the raya from Shas. But upon him, this Meir Simcha is a beautiful ma'amakim that you always have what to be saimach on to shahakal. But now halacha l'maisa. I asked this to have David Feinstein, and I asked this to have Shlomo Miller, probably the two biggest poskim in America. One lives in Toronto, but we mean, yeah. And they both said, schnitzel, you make a shahakal. Okay? So that's enough for me. Now, I did ask him, also, he told me, you make a bayim in mezainis. He says, Amal, the Pais Kumtaka said you make a shahakal because it was just there for covering, but today it's there for giving a taste, and therefore you should make a Brahim and Mezainis because it's there for the taste. Now, let me just tell you one thing. Some people, what they try to do is separate the Mezainis from the shahakal part. The cover, the coating to the shahakal part. That do not do. I don't care if you make a Mezainis, but don't separate it and make a Mezainis on that and shahakal on that. To make two brachas on schnitzel, asa. You make a bracha of batala. One of them is for sure a bracha of batala. You can feel comfortable 100% to make a shahakal. You want to make a mezainis because you heard from someone to make a mezainis. I wouldn't get a crouton, exactly.
Not a crouton. Crouton is also a shaila. Get a piece of cake.
No, crouton, it's obviously.
You're telling me that you have to have cake. What about cake in the middle of the soup?
Okay, 1 second.
Cake in the middle of the soup.
There's something a very good nakuda which I wanted to bring up. In Eretz Yisrael, the schnitzel is much, the covering is much thicker, the tzipui, than the chicken itself. That's cheap. And they hack that chicken till it dies. And there's come out nothing in there. Like Shlomo said last week when he came a bach in Eretz, there was literally nothing in there. Till you got to it, it was like the custard in the donut. You know, you're looking and looking and looking, and finally there's a piece of chicken showed up. So over there, you're right. If the first bite's going to be with the coating, the enechanami could be. But I'm just very worried when someone's going to make that mezainis. Today, especially, most of the schnitzel are made out of cornflakes crumbs, not breadcrumbs. So you're all excited. You came to shir. You can make a mezainis. Oh, bro, you're making a loud mezainis. You made stam a bracha that doesn't exist over here because this is cornflakes crumbs and this is not mezainis. This is not breadcrumbs. So I would like to see if that guy in the knapsack had breadcrumbs and not cornflakes crumbs.
I went to be by because I have kitchen and I wasn't allowed in, so I don't know.
Okay, so therefore, you're much safer making shahakal, and over here you could say that it's a suffix enough, not stam a suffix enough, that apipashtis, you go ahead. I just actually today in the morning I was speaking to a big Talmud Chacham, very big Talmud Chacham, and he was telling me every time he eats schnitzel, he makes 2 brachas on something else. Very nice.
He makes 2 brachas?
On something else.
I make 2 brachas.
Makes 2 brachas. A shahakal mezainis. Big deal. That's not a kunst. That we all could do. That's nothing to do with. That's not do with. We're trying to learn the halacha. Therefore, I would tell you very comfortable that you make a shahakal, at least in America, and even Mike's chicken that we said over there. There's mamish pretzels, this and that. Lamai cigarette. The halacha is you make a shahakal. You want to be machmer. That you can talk within yourself. Don't announce that you make 2 brachas on something else. It's not so chashuv. Don't think you're such a special person. You want to be machmir yourself. It's a nice thing to do. But to say that the paskin to make a mezainis, I would gesture that's not the minig ha'olam, and that's not the right psak zicha for America. You want to tell me Eretz Yisrael is different? I don't think today in Eretz Yisrael, I don't have.
The gap has changed. The gap has shrunk.
The gap is shrunk. It's too hard to say that the mice you make a mezainis. I feel very strongly. I know it's a jakava thing to say you make a mezainis, but I feel very strongly halacha l'maisa that you should be making a shahakal. No.
We did. We had a debate. It's called Mechamta Shel Torah. That's you'll hear. He'll come back.
Oh, okay. 1 second. We're going to talk about some more cases now. If he listens to the shir, maybe he'll talk about it. I don't know. Does he? I don't know what happens. Okay. Someone's writing now. The schnitzel night sell today is American style. Thin Conan. What? Oh, he's an Eretz Yisrael, you mean? There's someone over here in Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah, so we have a few people in Israel. 2 people. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So maybe he's writing from, I don't know, the Rabbi Eliezer.
Palkov. Yes, he's writing to you from Chov Sorotsky.
Oh, okay. So he's telling us firsthand. Okay. So therefore, he's asking a good shaila. Dr. Leibowitz is asking a good shaila. That does it make a difference if the tachlis while you're eating it is for that coating? That's a very good shaila. That means, and that's what we started speaking about last week. You have 2 options in front of you. You have fried schnitzel, or you have grilled schnitzel. So now I'm eating the fried because I want that taste of the crumbs. That's a very good question. How do you answer that? So over there, he's right. Now I'm eating it. I want it for the taste. It's not just ledavik. It's not just whatever, something that's agav.
Suffix, and if a suffix, you make a shaka.
Oh, the black is very strong that this is called a suffix, and a suffix can make a shaka. But over here, maybe it's not a suffix. Maybe you really want it for that, and that should make you.
Londinsky said it's the shot.
Oh, that's it. Rabbi Black. That's it. Okay. Rabbi Black is sticking up for me, and he telling me that Lamais again, and I think you're 100% right.
He has a munas chachamim.
Right.
Either way, you make a shot.
That's it.
He says that a shackle is nikva for a suffix. What's his name?
Rabbi
What?
Caro says that a shackle is a suffix. Yeah.
Nikva for a suffix.
Oh, yeah, because he's saying two dinei shackles. He's talking about the
Who said this?
no, in general, the two types
Jay
of
Malin. Wow.
Shackle for a suffix was an
Ooh, wow. Look at that. I'm happy that someone's taking. He's not OCD. You know what I mean? What's the halach? Again, Okay. I'm not gonna mice. That's it. Right. And that's why I'm very comfortable to tell you, like you're saying, like Rabbi Black is saying, you stay with the shahakal, hakal k'chaynik. Don't be so misopik. This is a regular shahakal, and we feel very comfortable to say that. Those are over here. You make a shahakal on schnitzel. Finished. Over. We're done. Let's move on. Okay. Now let's talk about, today they have, it's not in Eretz Yisrael much more. Now they have it in America already. I remember Altzbach, we would bring it back from Eretz Yisrael. That was like a nut that they didn't really sell in Eretz Yisrael. The covered mezainis nuts. Peanuts, right? It's peanut inside. I think it's peanuts, right?
Bunim mitzupim.
That's it, yeah. Bunim mitzupim, right? They sell it. They have it in every Shalom Zacha today. Very good tasted nuts.
I think it's a beer nut. He said it's a Boston.
Okay, well, Kisser, it's here too.
No picture of it? It's Kedai.
It has various names. It's here too. If
That's
Pesach,
it.
Pesach not on, otherwise he would show you pictures of it.
Oh, this is the one that shows pictures now.
Yeah.
Okay. So the kids are Maisa. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes, everybody knows. We talked about it before.
Oh.
Chocolate covered, not chocolate, something fried covered peanuts. Right.
Over there, I agree that that's a mezainis. Schnitzel shackle, that mezainis. Why? Now, because over there, it's not just the covering, it's really for the whole thing. No, you don't like a peanut, but that you like. Not something that you don't like chicken. You like the peanut. You like this type of peanut. It's not just, and over there, it's not just, you can't separate it. It's ingrained in it. It's not separable. So therefore, I feel over there, very stark, that you should make a mezainis. And the Avnei Yashba, yeah, I hope you don't need that much of it, but yeah, you could. Yeah, you could make it. What? You can make a I might see. No, no, don't go that direction. But I'm saying we'll get there. We'll get to there. But Ebshem Zalman and many Moshe Steinbach and the Shuvas Van Haggis, Ebshem Zalman and Sefer Chukei Mamtakim, the Avnei Yashba. I don't know if I ever spoke about Avnei Yashba. Avnei Yashba was a
You knew him?
yeah.
So did I. Yeah.
Yeah?
He lived in the west side beside Yom.
Right, sure. That's what I knew because he came to Lakewood and I have 100 tubas to them. The kids are Maisa.
Big tzaddik.
Yeah, from Chicago originally. Yeah, the kids. So he wrote that about you make a mezainis, and that's what we're going to stay with. That over there you make a mezainis. Now, licorice. So I want to tell you a little bit of a shakavataya that we had on licorice. Pashtus, licorice has a lot of flour in it. It's not just the tzipui. So you don't have this hectare of schnitzel that we're trying to say. It's just the cover and whatever we're trying to say. There's flour in it, and it's there to give you substance. It'll also be nothing to it. So l'chayra, pashtus licorice should be a mezainis. There's a sefer called HaRav. It was written for someone from England, not today, 30, 40 years ago. He writes like this. He says that he spoke to Blum packaging and Pashkus packaging. Okay? That they put kemach in there. So they answered him like this. Please be advised, I'm reading you the words that they wrote to him, that the flour added to licorice for taste and body. Okay? They write, I discussed this bracha with the Pesach Adar Moshe Feinstein. And Moshe Feinstein said, you make him a zaynis. Very good. Licorice, new bracha. Coming out. Schnitzel was staying with the shakal. But licorice, they blooms and pashkas. Shakal, mezainis. Someone came to Moshe, and before that, many years before, they asked him, what bracha you make a licorice? And Moshe said, the taste of licorice, he said it tastes like somewhat of a dogon taste, it has a thickness to it. And Moshe said, no shaila, it's a mezainis. Oh, this David's asking about coated cauliflower. That's a good shaila, we're going to have to get to that. That's a new Michael today. They code everything today became you can't eat anything healthy anymore. Everything is coded with something. So today, yeah. Okay, one second. Let's finish this licorice. So that's what this licorice company, they said they went to Moshe, Blums, and Pashkus. Now, Yaakov Kamenetsky and Emes Yaakov, now this is in the Ara. So in the Ara, you have to know many times I went through those Aras, and they're not, it's not Yaakov Kamenetsky didn't write it. So it's not so reliable. Reliable, but there's many things that are not clear over there. Not Chashon. But many things I found.
These are Haggais and Shulchan Aruch.
No, he has a sefer on Shulchan Aruch, and then on the bottom is Haggais.
Oh.
The sefer that's over there on top, which is most of it, that's Yaakov wrote. But on the bottom is talking that Talmidim heard.
Okay.
And I asked this to Daniel Neustadt, who worked on the sefer many times. Come on, every hour I have an hour on, and I'm not getting back good answers on it. It's not. So let me tell you what he writes over there. He writes over there that you make a shahakal. He says because the kemach that was added is not chashin. So this sefer HaRav brings that he spoke to a different company, not Blums and Pashkus, and they write, I'll read you the lashon. The wheat flour is added particularly as a binding agent. It contains approximately 30% wheat flour. During the cooking process, the gluten content of the flour is partially cooked to give the product its unique texture and bind the mass together. As you will appreciate, the taste of flour is rather bland in any form and is a combination of the dark, shriekal, I don't know what I mean, and licorice that gives the major flavor impact. So it's very clear, this company that wrote back to the Sefer HaRav, he did a lot of research, and this company is telling him that we put it there just for binding, and therefore you should make a shahakal. This Sefer Pischei Halacha, which is Rabbi Forst from Rockaway, he writes in a michtav, he says that someone asked him that he wrote that you make a shahakal on licorice, you're going against Moshe. Moshe says you make a mezainis. So he says, I was always bothered with this psak from Moshe, and I wasn't mekabel it. And he says that maybe they didn't explain to Moshe with how do they make licorice, and he says that he spoke to YNS Candies, I don't know who that is, and he says that it's part of Hershey's, and they said that the whole thing is just ladavek, therefore it's not meant, you don't make a bracha. Now,
those answers may have come from chemists that are goyim who went to school and they just like consultants. How do you know like it's a real Talmud Chacham that he gave that answer?
yes, very good, you're asking very good. L'may Sigret, there's a sefer called Shalmei Nissen, and I'm sure you know who that is. I'm Nissen Kaplan. And Nissen Kaplan, he has a sefer on brachas, and he writes like this. Lefiza belikarish hayemokim loymad yivach all the minim mezainis. El the mikol mokim bechlal safek brachas to mevach and all shakal to safek brachas make a shakal. The safek brachas mekulam. When we call makar in the Indian bracha achrayna, if you ate a lot of it, then it's a safek in bracha achrayna b'yoy lachmash leilachle b'shloi b'sech suda. Don't eat licorice shloi b'sech suda. A new psak. Don't give your children licorice only if it's the middle of a meal. Now, B'tzarachin, he ends off. I'll say for the same bracha shesoslam b'zel kula that says the kula not to make a bracha achrayna. So I was very bothered with this psak that he's writing in a sefer. I said not to eat a techasuda. What do you mean techasuda? You have a bigger problem because what bracha rishon am I making? It's not v'ama ba machmas asudi. You should make a shahakal. So I don't know unless it's mezainis, then you don't make a bracha b'chlal. So what are you doing techasuda? You're making worse problems. Because if you feel very strongly that it's a medainis, then you should not be making a shahakal. Then you don't make a bracha b'chlal because techasuda may pass. I don't know what this is. So I asked him this.
Can you explain to a little bit more about the techasuda?
Yes.
Here?
Okay. So let me explain a little bit more.
Maybe it can be seen.
What bracha do I make on this licorice? Let's say it's a suffix. We have a suffix, mezainis or shahakal. Okay. So let's say, like he said, suffix, you make a shahakal. No problem. Suffix brachas l'kula, make a shahakal. It's a real suffix to us, you make a shahakal. Now the problem is bracha achrayna. Again, when you start me. Why? Because if I eat kedei achilas pras, let's say it's 9 minutes the most, right? 9 minutes. If you can eat licorice, sometimes by Shalom Zachi you get stuck and you're just smoothing over something and you eat licorice. Fine. It's not going to eat it. Kedei achilas pras, I'm going to eat too much. Over there, you don't say Savik Brachas Lahakal to make a Brachas B'nai Nefashis. You're stuck. Because B'nai Nefashis doesn't get potter for Alamechia. If you're Mechim in Alamechia, B'nai Nefashis is not going to potter you. Bracha Yishayna, we know Shahakal works for everything. But for Bracha Achrayna, you're stuck. So what Bracha Achrayna do I make? So Dr. Mr. Kaplan, you know what, I'm stuck. You know what I should do? I'm going to eat this Techasud. So I asked him, what did you gain? You got me for the Bracha Achrayna, what do you do for the Bracha Yishayna? Are you going to make a Shahakal, but maybe it's a Mezainis, then you don't make a Mezainis Techasud.
You just moved the problem earlier.
Yeah. You made the problem with not the Bracha Achrayna, but you made me a problem Bracha Yishayna. You made a bigger problem Bracha Yishayna by telling me this halacha. So I called him up and I asked him the Shayla. And he started telling me, which could be true, that such a mezainis you would make in a Teichasuda also. Why? Because a mezainis that's there it's not there to fill you, you would make Teichasuda. So I had an argument with him, and we didn't get anywhere really. Was that if that's true, and also you didn't fadin anything for the Bracha Yishayna, and you're going to start telling kids to make look your wishes now from now and only Teichasuda. Come on, that's not the halacha. What is the halacha l'maisa? So there's a sefer, very chashuv sefer called HaRav. HaRav is written, I think, by a Garian man. Very, very nice sefer on HaRav.
HaRav.
HaRav, I think.
Name?
What's his name? I don't know. He came once to America and I met him and I spoke to him. I was very impressed. And a beautiful sefer on brachas. He has a few svarim. And he writes over there that the bracha you're trying to make a shahakal, bracha achrayna don't make a b'chlal, don't need a techelis past, don't make a bracha achrayna. I don't know, is this for real? I mean, like, what's going on here? Right? I mean, if you're okay with shahakal, then make a b'nai nefashis. What do you? So I asked him this. He told me that the Gabi bracha achrayna, he was a little worried, so he didn't want to pass him. Now I don't know. It's a psak sefer. It's not just the Londinsky sefer. So I feel very comfortable today. Lamaisa, licorice is lahedya meant for a nash. It's klar. Licorice is meant for a nash. So as much as you're going to tell me that you spoke to Memchayim, I believe very much that they spoke to Ramosha and they told Ramosha that this thing is filling and this is that and that's what it's made for. So Ramosha said about the Messiah, it's not sad enough.
Some people say that in the old days it was about the Messiah. These days it's about a process full of different types of things in it. So they say now that.
Oh yeah, you heard that from a reliable source? It could be, but I'm saying even more than that. I'm saying that even if there's a lot of flour to it, the flour doesn't change that it's a nash. It's lahedya made as a nash. There's no such thing as mezainis nash. A cookie's not a nash. The cookie's there filling. Licorice is not there for a filling. Nothing to talk about. Even if your dots was that licorice is there for a nash. It's in a nash pile. It's lahedya. It's a candy. Klar candy, I feel very comfortable to make a shahakal with the b'nai nefashis. You hear me, Black? Even with al cheshbonis, I feel very comfortable. And like you have the Samech always like to push you on that if the more flour, it's going to ruin it. You don't want too much flour. So therefore, I feel comfortable that on licorice, you make a shahakal with the b'nai nefashis. No mezainis, no alamechis, no problem, no techatzudis, nothing. You make a shahakal with a b'nai nefashis. The eating it because initial svar, if there was such a svar was that you're eating it as fish, you're not looking to eat it as cake. So that's a very strong svar. It's not. We'll see more a little about this.
Fish and the company wants profit.
Right.
Two different things. So you go back to the customer. Okay.
That's right. That's my matar to eat it, and the company's okay with that. That's my matar. They just want to fool you a little bit, but they mamish make it flour.
Homemade from scratch to go and catch the fish? They buy the fish in the store?
No, I know what he's talking about.
No, just send me a few pieces.
You don't want to taste that. Yeah.
Coated peanuts was put up there is also a nash.
Who put up there?
Nash, he had it. chat, the coated peanuts, those are for a notch, so you should make it a double.
No, but over there was a,
It's on the chat.
oh, I see, he's asking that, Neil's asking that. Oh, that's not similar b'chlal. That means if you're gonna eat cake for a nash, you're gonna tell me that, okay, let's make a mezainis, let's make a shackle. It's not just nash, it really is, it's in the nash pile, it's the etzim nash. A coated peanut is not a nash. It's something that you eat in small bites, but it's not a nash. Licorice is nash, and the flour is dear to be medabik. Over here, the flour it's faked. The flour is to give me by coated peanuts. The flour is there to give me the taste. That's what it's there for. Because I don't even like a peanut. The reason why I eat the flour is there to give me the taste. So it's a geschmack taste. It's sugary flour, whatever it is. So it's not similar. I'm not passing that nash. That's if you're eating cake as a nash, doesn't mean that you're going to make a shackle. That's push. Now, let's go to croutons in a salad. Now, we started speaking about it. There's a few different types of croutons. There's one, the breaded croutons, and then there's the yellow croutons. Now, which croutons are we referring to over here? Let's talk about before. What's croutons in a soup? Croutons in a soup. What bracha do you make? What do you mean? Let's talk about the yellow croutons. Yellow croutons. Fried ones. Oh, I think they're both fried. No. Okay. Right, bread. Oh, that's mamish bread. Oh, right, I know what you're talking about. The hard square croup. I'm talking about the old yellow ones that everyone's used to. The small. I'm talking about all of them small yellow ones. Yeah. So what bracha do you make on that? Now you make a mezainis. That's clear. Now, if you're putting that in the soup, so do I say kol sheyesh boi? And I say, you know what? This soup became mezainis. Make a mezainis on the soup. Why not? Kol sheyesh boi. We learned the sugi kol sheyesh boi. It's not dila davik. It's dila tam. Law. So I should make a mezainis on the soup. That, sure.
If you run out of croutons, I'm gonna eat the soup by itself. If you have a lot of croutons, I'll mix them and I'll eat croutons afterwards, even without the soup.
So what bracha do you want to make?
Two brachas.
So Rabbi Black is tiny that it's not, and I'm going to explain what he's saying, and he's right. It's not uptightening the soup. First of all, there's two things. Number one is, in lav dafka you want it so much for the taste, you want it for the crunch. Sometimes you like the crunch of it. But let's say not. Let's say it's more for the taste also. It gives taste. But when I'm doing it, what I'm doing is it's not uptightening my soup. Maybe by children they pour in a whole thing. But the Mala mentioned, you have a coating on top. Every spoon comes one or two pieces. It's not tightening up my soup. Kol sheyesh boi has to go ahead and tighten up that now the Michael, it's called this cake, whatever, a cookie or whatever it is. When I'm going ahead and just when I'm putting croutons in my soup, what do you think I'm doing? What I'm doing is I'm putting something additive to a soup. But this thing's a soup. It's not croutons. So croutons is eat separate, and croutons with soup has another taste to it. But I'm not trying to eat. It didn't tighten up what my soup is. If you don't have croutons, you're not going to eat the soup? That's no such thing. How do you eat the soup? So therefore, croutons in the soup is pashit, that it can't take over and say that kol sheyesh boi because I want to taste the croutons. No such thing. Therefore, it's pashit by me that you should make two brachas. Because you can't say that you don't make a mezainis because you have cheshivas to the croutons. But to make one bracha, but to make mezainis, that for sure not. There are Same thing. You make two brachas. Now, what do you ask? No, you don't have to make it something else. It's a separate thing. Best is, let's say you take it, you don't put the piece yet in the soup and you eat it. But really, there's no problem to make two brachas on that. No problem at all. You make one on it. It was never mu'uriv together. It's separate. Kol sheyesh boi has to. When all the sorts of kol sheyesh boi, it's called fish. It's all the same thing. Don't say that Chazon Ish said fish. Don't say that. But what is this flour? Can it take over what it's supposed to be taking over? This is called gefilte fish. This is a soup. It's a chicken soup. It's not a crouton soup. It's no such thing. So therefore, you can't say that the croutons, even though it stems with all the gedarim and that this should be kol sheyesh boi. but it has to get the first base. It has to say that now it's called crouton soup. Not what it is. It's chicken soup. Cholent is different. Cholent is part of the ingredients. Cholent is made together. It's part of the ingredients. That says cholent. That's right. That's right. The word cholent means a mix. Here, it's not. You have soup, and then after, by the way, if you're going to cook the soup with the croutons, ayana soup is going to look like, right? It's going to look like ayana crouton, ayana soup. Baidanish. Here I have the soup, and gather some people like croutons, some people don't like croutons, but that doesn't get rid of culture by. So therefore, it's pashut that croutons in soup you do not make you'll make two brachas. Yes. What about chicken noodle soup? Does the name indicate the bracha? Okay, he's asking a good shaila. I don't think that we have that, but the last 20 years they have noodle soup. What's it called? That's what he's writing. Chicken. Huh? Camels? In the yellow cups. In the yellow, styrofoam cups. Yeah, you didn't say out that water. Exactly.
Chicken noodles with parma.
Right. It's a falch. It's falch. No chicken. There's no zech of chicken in that thing. Right? Chicken flavor. Shine. That's the falch of Medina, that everything can be called something else. It's a bekitza. So the shaila is on that. That's a very good shaila. Over there, very mistaber that you only make a mezainis. Because over there, you saw how much lakshan is in that thing? No, over there, that thing is fully mezainis, and the reason why the person's eating is out the noodles. Rather, there's some water in there. But really, the tachlis is the noodles, completely.
Vegetables, dried vegetables.
Oh, those vegetables, and just answer them in a moment.
They'll have vegetable chicken with noodles, a little bit of flavoring. There's vegetables, dried vegetables.
Those vegetables are worthless. I would be very comfortable just to make a mezainis on that. Okay, that's very important because that's taka very shchich today. Kids are always eating that. That does not the klal. I'm happy someone brought that up. That is not the klal of what we just said. So too, someone's asking over here, lakshan in the soup, knedel in the soup. That's all the same. That's all like croutons. That did not take over the soup. The klal of kosher yeshba is now explaining it in English terms. All the Paiskim, they're all trying to be magnet in different words. Is kosher yeshba has to be that is translation of what you're eating now. If that's not the translation, that means mezainis takes over. So what does that mean? That means that's what I'm eating. If I have noodles in a soup, I'm eating chicken soup. That's what I'm eating. I'm eating vegetable soup. I'm not eating noodles. If I want to, if my Torah is to eat noodles, I'll make a bracha on the noodles also. But therefore, that's one thing that's very clear. That's not one bracha. Yeah.
Broth, which is nothing in there, and then noodles.
What's broth?
Broth means that it's water with chicken that used to be in there, and now you just have the water. Broth. Chicken's going out the chicken, add noodles in there. I would suggest they just make it dishonest and not a shakol on the soup, because you wouldn't eat the soup by itself.
Oh, I don't know this case. I don't know this case. Is that like this? Is that
Everybody has his own subjective preferences, that's all, so.
No, I'm not sure. No. Kraplich in the soup, you make anything in a bracha.
Why?
Because like we just explained, that's was in the Zachen Gansen. There's a krapel. People don't eat kraplich in the soup. You eat krapel without soup, right? Some people don't like when the kraplich in the soup. So it's nothing to do with the soup. It's just chicken soup, and grab you eating kraplich. Kraplich in the soup, you make another mezainis. Now, let's move on. Croutons in a salad.
Where's our pictures?
Now, one second. I just want to be clear. I could be massive on this, but it's not. We have to move on next week, so we can't keep on talking about this culture forever. Because I did speak to some gedalim, and I spoke to David Feinstein about croutons in a soup. But I'm telling you what the halacha l'maisa, what I came out is that it's called you make two brachas, and don't just make a mezainis because it's called a soup. It's called a chicken soup, and therefore you don't. Now, I do agree that if your children, sometimes the whole thing goes right into the soup, then that became like the instant noodle soup, which that you only make in mezainis. Because that's the ikatachas. And David Feinstein told me like that also.
What's the mezainis? What they build?
No, they like the whole container of croutons comes into the soup. Every kids, yeah. Then I agree you make a mezainis. Right, exactly. Then I agree you make a mezainis, but we're talking about the Mala mentioned you have a little coating of croutons.
The same.
Then you make two brachas. Okay, now The question is like this: croutons in a salad. This is different. This is not a chicken soup, because the same way in a chalent we said pashut. Even though I'm not passing it like that because I don't want to get into chalent now. But let's say you make a mezainis, finished. So a salad, why? Because it's just chalent. It's lahedya mixed. That's what it is. It's lahedya mixed to be as a chalent. That's what chalent means. So the barley is partly mixed in the chalent. So over there you could hear that you should make a mezainis. Croutons in a salad is not like croutons in a soup. Croutons in a salad, that's part of the salad. Salad means a mix. So it's part of the salad. So over there is more mistaba. I'm not telling you at Lamaisa. Over there it's more mistaba to make a mezainis. Because there it's kol sheyeshba. What? On the whole thing. Let me ask you like
The
this.
pot is all the vegetables.
All the vegetables. Now, I didn't pass it Lamaisa. I'm just telling you the value. Why? Because it's not similar to chicken soup. Chicken soup is a thing for itself. It was cooked as chicken soup.
You have our crouton pictures?
So you want a nice taste to it, but that kol sheyeshba can't take over. Over here, croutons in the salad, there yesh lav. Now, that's what I'll tell you why this is sad. told me, no salad. He says, we'll speak later about, we hope we're going to get to it, about ice cream with mezainis in it. But Akapanim, he told me over there, klar mezainis. If David finds Simcha Miller told me, it depends how much croutons you put in, which that's mistaba. I'll tell you why. Because when we look at it as a salad, not mezainis. We look at it as a salad, vegetables. Today they started adding pears also, fruit, orange, and they have other fruits, nuts, fine. But to say that the croutons became the kol sheyeshba, the salad, pashtus, the croutons are there just for the crunch. When it's there for the crunch, then you don't make a bracha. Then it doesn't have the kol sheyeshba. Croutons that are there for the crunch, mezainis that are there for the crunch, do not say kol sheyeshba. So therefore, there's pictures of it? No. Oh, yeah, pictures. Oh,
We had the pictures. I don't know
okay,
what
fine.
happened.
Okay.
We,
fine.
can you find those two pictures? Even on Matzah Shabbos, there were two, the lady, there you go. The lady made, no, but our pictures. The lady made 2 types of salad.
That's a lot of croutons. I mean, that's
Right. On Matzah Shabbos, we had a
That I would
salad
make
which had the crackers on top, get crouton, crackers. The crackers coated the whole top of the salad.
really.
Yeah. And
Oh, I know what you mean. I think like
ladies
croutons
do
is-
that. They cover, we showed pictures of it before. I know, we got the pictures from the bris. What happened to those pictures? Okay, I'm gonna send them again. Okay, let's hear the Rav Shita first.
No, so such a salad, that's what I'm telling you. By a salad, it's different than chicken soup. And by such a salad, I would make a mezainis. I would feel comfortable to make a mezainis v'dahu. But it has to be that it's there for the taste also. If it's just there for the crunch, Sahib Shlomo Mill and Sahib Del Feinstein told me on that does not take over. Maybe you should make 2 brachas. But to say 1 bracha and to make just a mezainis, not. But again, it's all because the asay that we're saying v'machadish. Kol sheyeshba has to have that. I got a shame of it. When I see that, like with that picture that he showed us earlier, that had completely, that looked like it had a lot of croutons covered with croutons. There, I'll feel comfortable to say make a mezainis. Now, only, no problem with that. Now, let me talk about. Oh, here goes.
Here you go on the screen.
This I would feel comfortable to say you make a mezainis. It's a regular kol sheyeshba. Every bite you're taking, there's going to be a mezainis there. It's come out just as much as everything else, all the other vegetables, and it's a very good taste. It's not just there for the crunch, as you see black pepper on it, and there's this and that.
It's there for filler also.
Well, alamich is a whole different shadow which we have to discuss when you don't eat enough.
See, the lower one doesn't have the same amount of crouton.
Lower one, I see one.
There's two. Oh, no, so there's 2.
This Matzah Shabbos? No, this is
No. This was the first that I went.
Oh, he's bringing it down to the low one. I just brought it.
That's croutons.
That's the other types of croutons. Yeah.
This is on Dama?
No, I'm pretty comfortable. This is also mezainis. It looks like there's a lot here also, and it's there for taste. Again, these are tasty croutons. I would feel
Why not
comfortable to say-
hamotzi?
Hamaitzi. Oh, that's the whole
With
other
little squares of bread.
Yeah. That's a good shaila. That we're going to get to. Yeah, that's a very good question. But we're going to get to that in Mitzvah. That's going to be lachas on the base. That's a whole sugi for itself. Let's get back to this. So now, what today a new phenomenon is to have this ice cream with cookies. It's called, I think, cookie ice cream or something, right? Cookie crunch? Cookies in the ice cream, right?
Cookies and cream.
Cookie dough.
Cookies and cream. All right, it's called cookies and cream. So the shot is like this. That's a regular ice cream, but it has cookies. That would be nice to see a picture of that. Anyone has that or no? No? Okay.
We can get anything. Cookies and ice. What is it called? Cookies and cream.
Or they make Oreo ice cream too.
What are samples for the boys during the thing?
Okay, fine. Akapanim. So we have such a thing called cookies and cream. So the shayla is what type of bracha to make on that. Now, let's try to understand what are these cookies in here for? For the crunch, or it's there for the taste? If it's different, so we can pass on ourselves. We don't need any pass anymore. If it's there for the taste, you make a medinus. If it's there for the crunch, you make a shackle. Now, so that's what we really have to understand. Oh, there's a picture? Oh, yeah, that's a good picture. Yeah, perfect.
Could you move the screen over a little bit so it's you can center this thing in the middle? Well, how did these are very small. Lamaisa, these are very small.
These are very small, but the end of the day is every time you're gonna lick an ice cream, you're getting a piece of cookie.
Is that the kaveya? That has
What's
to be in
that?
every spoonful?
No, I'm just saying, but it's really part of it. I'm just saying it's not like
What about this forward that has a different name? You're ordering not ice cream, you're ordering this ice cream. This
Okay.
ice cream.
So I asked this to Rabbi Lava. It loses part of it, but there's still some crunch. It loses right because it gets wetness to it, but there's still part of it. There's still somewhat of a crunch. So I asked it to Rabbi Lava, and he said that this thing is called ice cream. Lamaisa, it's called ice cream, and therefore shakal. Is that a chiddush?
It's made
Have guests
together,
come and
kosher
sit.
yeshbo.
Right. Okay. So again, I'm going to explain it like we're saying the whole time. Kosher yeshboi is there to say that that's what this is called. That means that's the name of it.
Yeah, cookies and cream.
So the shadow is when we're calling it cookies and cream, did that lose its name ice cream or not? Is that a marketing process or not? So I agree. Let me just tell you what happened over here. There's a Mishabura in Simon Kuf Samaches, Sif Cotton Samach Beis. Good eye to see if they have
We see
it.
inside. Yes, give us the side again.
Kuf
Please.
Samaches, Sif Cotton Samach Beis.
Samachay?
Kuf Samaches,
No, Kuf Samachay,
Sif Cotton Samach Beis.
62. It is on page, Kuf Samachay 62 is on page. Kuf Samachay 62 is on page 64. Is on
So, I'll just tell you what happened over here.
185.
I asked him this question. He tells me like this: on cookies and cream, you make a shahako. No mezainis at all. On schnitzel, you make a mezainis. That's his tax. I told him, you're being size to yourself. How can it be on schnitzel, you're making a shahako, a mezainis, and on cookies and cream, you're making a shahako? So he told me, because cookies and cream are called glida.
So,
Schnitzel,
Kuf Samachay
Sifkat and Samach Beis.
62. Don't see it. Okay, but
So he said, cookies and cream are called ice cream. Schnitzel has a different name. It's not called anymore chicken. It's called schnitzel. We spoke about that last week a little bit. What does schnitzel come from? Where did the word come from? But Akapanim, that was his svara. Either take it or leave it. I'm saying, okay. But Lamaisa, that's what he held. Now let me bring you a little bit of a riot to him. Forget the schnitzel. Schnitzel became a chakel. But let's bring a little bit of a riot to cookies and cream. So this mishabur is a very important mishabur to see. You're not getting it?
okay, a Pesach or Mordechai, you got to put on Kuf Samachay 62. Did I say it right?
Yes.
I'm looking for it. I can't.
Maybe you don't
find-
have kuf samachas,
I
do
can't
you?
find it in the book. No, we have Kuf Samachay right in front of me.
How could it not be?
I don't know. I don't see.
Kuf samachas,
Okay,
samachas.
but I don't see it in the Mishabur. I don't see 62. I see 64. I don't see 62.
Oh,
Well, it
what
was
put
here
in?
before. I don't see 62.
Oh, I see it right here.
Where? Which
Here,
page?
page Zion. I don't know what, oh,
No, no,
185.
You see it on 185?
Is that the Mishabur on the side?
No. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
on the side. Oh, they put it on the side. Okay. Yeah, 185.
185. It says like this. V'im noisin rak ma'at lechem dak dak l'soicha shecha cham k'dei sheyitin b'tam
This is
v'lo
Peter.
b'shvil achilo einay mevarach rak shehakal al shecha d'hu ekev al lechem ein by mamashas v'dav achashem. I could have lechem, and it's there even. The Mishnah Berurah is telling you clear. It's there even k'dei sheyitin b'tam, but not because you're eating it. It's just giving somewhat of a taste. Dr. Mishnah Berurah, you still make a shehakal.
Page 185.
This is a Mishnah Berurah, not a
Today.
and people don't notice Mishnah Berurah. It's a murder side. The whole kosher yeshbay. That is enough of a reason why to make a shehakal. Cookies and cream. Dr. Basil Arbach. You didn't tell me this Mishnah Berurah, but l'chayr you can be madam this Mishnah Berurah. You're eating it for the ice cream. You're eating it at the end of the Suda. You're not looking to eat it. You're not looking to eat it as a.
No, but it says the Metzias has no bein mamashas. It's a Metzias question because it dissolves. Isn't that what he's saying? Is it dissolves?
Oh, okay.
In case
You
of
have to
ice
know
cream, it
that's-
does not dissolve.
Okay, you have to know
Talking
how.
about hot beer, bread and hot beer, it dissolves.
Okay, yeah, Shlomo is saying very good. Over here it doesn't dissolve. That's where it's debatable a little bit. How much do we need that svar of dissolving? But I could probably see that when there's lechem gama still, if it's not the ikka, you're not going to make a bracha. Now, the Ramesh Steinbach told me that you make a mezainis, no question asked. And Feinstein told me depends how many cookies there are in there. If there's many cookies, you make a mezainis. If not, you just make a shahakal. Lemaisa, what do we do?
What does many mean? Who knows?
Yeah, what does many mean? Who's going to pass on this? What do we do?
You don't eat ice cream.
No. During the suit, it doesn't help you. Do you make a shahakal or not? Mitzad the cookie, you won't make any bracha. You're stuck. So this is something that's taka a good shaila. I agree. This is a good one. I mean, schnitzel, we got everything covered. This is something that's a very, very stark shaila. I would suggest to make 2 brachas on it. Not on it, on something else. The problem is tachasuda. We're eating this for dessert. Shalashudas or whatever it is, eating this for dessert. So what I would say is that since it's called, I would gesture to say like Rabbi Arbach, that it's called ice cream and it's for something. So I would take a bite of ice cream without the cookie. The cookie you're not making bracha anyways because it's mezainis, you're not going to make a bracha tachasuda. I would take a little bit. If it's cooked together, I would be worried to do this. But since obviously it's not cooked together, right? So therefore, you could say that teruvas are not so stark, and I would be okay with taking out a little piece of the shahakal and just making a shahakal in it, and then continue eating it.
Even though normally you don't like these 2 brachas gimmicks, right?
Right, because over here, it's techasuda. I don't have another eitzah really. Yeah, this is something that's a little bit complicated because you're not cooking it, and that way you have to get more to ikka v'tafel, which is going to be way daf mem beis, mem dalet over there, mem dalet. That's what we have to wait for. But that's what I would say. One other case is a sandwich ice cream. You know what a sandwich ice cream is?
Ice cream sandwich.
Ice cream
But parents, it's important. We call it ice cream sandwich. The ice cream is first.
Okay.
The other wanted to know the
But
name.
it's very clear that you can make 2 brachas. It's very, very clear. It's cookie on top of ice cream. The ice cream is thing for itself. Each one has a chashivas. To say kol sheyesh bay, it's very not pasha b'chlal because it's separate. It's 2 separate things. Kol sheyesh bay, again, the say that we're coming out today is kol sheyesh bay means it took over the Michael. It's together. It's one. This is 2 separate things. There's some children that won't even eat. Some people that will lick out the ice cream. Some people won't. It means it's 2 separate things. It's like a fork holding the ice cream. Therefore, very mistaba over there. You don't have to be misupik. That you would make 2 brachas. Okay, that is the Gemara of Kol Sheyesh Ba. Next week, hope to move on already. Yeah.
Yes, Mitzvah.
Okay.
What would Rav like to next week? You want to
Well, Bali has to discuss. We have to discuss the
Dagon.
sugar crisp and all that. Yeah.
Commissioner Dagon. The introduction, the first part.
What?
The first part of Commissioner
Yeah.
Dagon.
Sorry.
Well,
next
Master
week,
this week
Mark.
is Mirz Hashem, at everybody's discretion. We're invited to Rabbi Yosef's house tomorrow.
Good. But it doesn't take away the bracha for shaka from the soup. Right. Very good.